Or
I
thank
don't
you.
actually have the deck.
Yeah, we got it.
Have that, so you should be able to share that all.
Great. Well, thank you, everyone. I'm glad to see some faces on who could get on this Saturday. And again, we're starting the network marketing skills training number 4 about a deep dive of the follow-up. Grab your pen, grab your paper, take screenshots with your phone. There's some great stuff. And Rainey, we don't want to put you on the spot, but we thought you'd really like this. So hopefully we'll. So we're going to at first mute everybody and then of course have you come back on. I think Knut, you've got to do that since you started the meeting.
You have the deck, so I can't do nothing on that. So you
No,
have...
no, just muting everybody in the meeting.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, I'll start the slides and everything. And I want to share, you are probably going to hear some cat meowing. I am visiting my daughter in California, and it's a beautiful house, and they have a cat who's not real happy at the moment. So try to do my best. So for those of you who may not have joined us on the previous skills training, we really want to start this because some...
I muted you as well. I'm sorry, Janet. I didn't mean to do that.
Okay, starting again. Welcome. It's a Saturday. So we wanted to start these trainings because some people have never done network marketing before. They did a little or they didn't really get involved. And they're like, how do I share things? So we just want you to, every meeting we want to remind you, this is a team sport, you guys. We all work together. We all help each other. No one's really taking away your prospects or anything. The only way we can all get to our dreams and our why and why we're doing this is together. So we welcome you here because over time, as you grow your business, not only are you learning and develop personally through the months, you're also starting to lead, and we wanted you to have a framework. And I think the big thing is we were never taught network marketing in school. You never had that course. And so you have to think of things a little differently and maybe expand your mind, do some personal development, get to trainings that help you to see the potential. So as we jump in, we welcome you. The previous trainings have been wonderfully archived by Julie and Knut on their YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/@activate the stem cells. And Knut's going to talk a little bit later about this. Our opportunity meetings are there. The network marketing skills are there. So take a screenshot. If you don't know this site, this is where you can go to get everything. So as we start today, we've been talking in the 331 system about the follow-up. And you're like, okay, I got it. Well, we really don't. And so we want to really give some framework around the follow-up that helped me a lot, and I think will help you, is the fortunes in the follow-up to help them get to what they want. We think the fortunes in the follow-up because I want to sign them up. But if you look long-term at what we're trying to do, the more we help people get them to what they want, now they're on board. And Knut, why don't you jump in here?
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Janet. Yes. There's this old saying, and if you can kind of imagine that it's tattooed on the inside of your eyelids, it doesn't matter how until you know why. And a classic example today, Julie and I sat down with a couple we just met, I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks ago. We've been trying to get together with them. 45 minutes into the conversation, get to know them a little bit and so forth, and then changing the tack over to, so what brought you down there? Why are you, what are you hoping to achieve? What do you want? And it took a little bit of prodding, but now suddenly they began to open up and they go, well, we have some issues. This is kind of funny as a side issue. The gentleman we were sitting with, his uncle was Christopher Reeve, Superman. Now, what did Superman in his last years work with? Stem cells. Mm-hmm. What does his brother, his dad, is very much into stem cells. But once we actually began to start and explore why they were living down here, how come they got to be down here, what they're hoping to achieve. I mean, probably in the age bracket of 40, 45. And it's almost like we have to teach or guide people through a way of starting to dream again.
Yeah.
It is so hard for many people to think about what they want to be, do, and have, because we get so focused on the process. It's like, okay, I go to work, I work hard, I get paid, right? Oh, I build this business, I talk to people, da 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 da, and you kind of sometimes wonder why we ourselves is not getting the results we want, but more to the point, the people that we're working with, and help them get an understanding. This leadership is all about walking slowly through the crowd. And sometimes it's not the right time for people. Sometimes you just got to go, I understand there's lots of going on. Mind if I reach out to you again in 3 or 5 months' time and hear how your shoulder is going or how your back is going? And then just put it into your calendar and call them back in 3 months. That's it.
We also, as we're going through this, and thank you, Knut, started to realize as some of you are just starting with us, some of you have been on for a couple of years. We start to realize why, I don't want to say changes, it evolves. And it's something I haven't been paying attention to. And so I hope this will help you guys. So to Knut's point, go ahead, Knut.
Yeah. So when we are piquing people's interest, in general, most people are busy. It's like a fashion item. Oh, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. It's like, I'm busier than you are. You don't know how busy I am. Yes, and that's why we sometimes just have to take a deep breath and just go, I understand. Now, you mentioned something. I saw that you were limping. I saw something. Try to build that bridge, connect with people. Network marketing, and this is a network marketing evening or afternoon as the basic skills. As a matter of fact, I would actually, if we're doing good on time, but just drop into the chat, everybody. The first thing that springs into your mind when I say, what's a network marketing business? Just drop it in the channel, because I'll be interested to hear what the perspectives are. What do you think network marketing is all about?
And we'll come back to it later. That's
Yep.
great. Yeah.
I'm just gonna, no one has dropped anything in there, but okay.
So people,
I see some things like sharing, selling with something, connecting with folks. That's from Dr. Velvet. Relationships, Kame, you're getting in a good spot there. I'm going to roll this into help. Others going to run. Yep. Barbara, yes. I would say that network marketing is the first and foremost thing, which is different to a traditional business. And this is a caring business. This is a people business. There's the old saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that is for us that are task-orientated, task-driven, it is probably the hardest thing to slow down and actually establish and find the reason. And as Janet says, it changes. One of her, she shared with us earlier today, a friend of Janet's 6 months ago had some personal issues, as in health issues. Not interested, got money to gazoo. 3 months ago, 2 months ago, that changed because now he started to have fun again. Connecting with people, establishing those rapports. How can I help you? This is a servant business. And a lot of the time when people say, can I fix it myself? Is it important? Well, if you have the issue now, if you don't mind me asking, how come you haven't actually worked on fixing it, getting it resolved? And they go, oh, I didn't know I could. Now, suddenly you're beginning to cross that bridge into the relationship. It's like someone is asking genuine questions about them. And that is so rare in today's society that someone takes the time, and it's not comfortable. It is not comfortable. It is sometimes you yourself just have to ask a question and shut up. Because when people get to talk to you about themselves and they sense that you have a genuine care rather than just being a process, oh, I'm going to ask this question, I'm going to ask that question, I'm going to this question. There's an excellent little book out there by a guy called Alan Pease called Questions Are the Answers. This is why we are in a relationship business. This is all about building rapport and relationships with people.
And Knut, can I add on there?
Yes, ma'am.
I probably am guilty. I'll see the issue and I know I've got a solution. So I'll start talking about the patches, or I want to give them a patch. I think I need to slow down to Knut's point and say, hey, what's gone on with you? How is this going? How are you feeling? Spend a little more time up front, because you start to understand, oh, I've been to 4 doctors. They can't find things out or whatever. But I think also there's a side of people, especially when they meet us, they don't want to tell us. They want to tell us they're fine. And so the flip side happens. You've had this happen. You share the information, they see the presentation or the video, and all of a sudden they go, oh yeah, I've got neuropathy, I've got back problems, I'm going in for surgery. And before that, they weren't going to tell you anything. So this is kind of a dance back and forth with different people. And we're going to talk about where people are at coming up here with a great video.
Yep.
Any questions? Anything else, Knut?
No.
Great. Okay. So we want to just preface this by saying we've been talking about the 331 system, about piquing their interest, and Julie's so good about starting conversations and asking questions, and it's really the preamble to get to know their why. And I think you're doing it, but as we go through this deep dive into follow-up, check yourself. I don't think I do this enough, and I need to change that. And you're pre-qualifying. We're going to talk about sharing photos and testimonials, but we're going to give you guys share a process that Eric Worre has that just blew me open. I was like, this is what I'm not doing. Anything, Julie, do you want to jump in here?
Well, yeah, I mean, the system is the PPP, sorry, I was to say PK again, haha. It's so funny. Pre-qualify and pack, but I think, yeah, we do the why a lot of the times, but sometimes we miss it, and then now that we've got the system, it makes it glaringly obvious if you miss the why, because they're not coming back to me, they're just not engaging, which is kind of interesting. So I've got when in the conversation and we roll around, we build the rapport, and then we're talking about things, they come back and then they say, oh, well, I have this issue. My mum has this issue, etc. So it is so important to just spend that time up front in the peaking situation, and it might take a little bit longer than one meeting, possibly. We're going to talk about this as we go along. That's maybe 5 or 6 touches, but we're starting with the peak. It doesn't mean that I am the queen of let's rush and get this thing done. It's in my DNA. But it might be that it might take a little bit of time to get that. But when you get that hook, you've probably made a friend. Maybe you've made a long-term friend. If you can help somebody get what they really want, and that comes in with, maybe they didn't realize that this is a way to give them another income as well.
Thank you. And to Julie's point, we get, especially as your team grows, like I get a lot of requests, please come share LifeWave with someone. It's a referral. And the other day I was introduced to a couple, Rosemary was with me, and we were told this gentleman was very high up in the US veterans. He was at state level. Please come show him LifeWave. So we had done no piquing of his interest. We didn't know his why. We didn't know anything. And we walk in with no prep because the friend's like, you have to talk to him. And it was just stonewalled. There had been no peaking. The gentleman had big health issues. He told us he was an expert in stem cells and our product wouldn't work. Now, his wife really got interested, another story. But without this piece, it actually, and you think, well, they're just, they just won't listen to anything. No, we had never piqued his interest. We had no idea what to do because someone said, come show him. All right, so I'd like to share about 7 minutes of a video with Eric Worre, the master. And we're going to talk about it, but let's get through. I clipped about 7 minutes of it where he talks about the follow-up. And just a little caveat, he starts by going, you're asking people to start a business. Well, later on, we probably are, but right now we're asking them to look at a health product. So just don't get caught there because the stuff he's got is really good. So if you can't hear anything or if it's a problem, let me know, but this should play.
Follow-up. Follow-up. Now, I used to never follow up. When I'd go talk to people, and if they said, "Oh, I'm thinking about it," or if they said, "Oh, I'm not sure. I need to talk to my spouse," or whatever, I would just avoid them. Oh, they're not ready, and some will, some won't. So what? Next, and I would just keep moving. And I want you to understand a couple things about follow-up. The first thing to understand is you're asking people to make a business decision. Actually, start a business. Most people have been trained to be employees for their whole life. You're asking people to start a business. And then we expect them to say, "Oh, sure, sign me up." Because the price is so low and it's so easy to do, so flexible, all that stuff. And all that stuff's true. But here's another thing that's true. Most people need a little bit of time to kind of let this sink in, to feel more comfortable with this decision, to get a little bit more information. And the most frustrated people in network marketing are the people who they themselves saw the opportunity and they said, "Yes, I'm ready to go. I'm in. Let's go." If that's you, you've probably been frustrated ever since because you talked to somebody and they're not ready to go in the first exposure. So there's something called the clock dial. And if this is high noon, right? And the clock dial moves. And people are at different parts of the clock dial. So let's say the clock dial is at 3 p.m. or 3 a.m., whatever. So 3 o'clock. Clock dial's at 3 o'clock. And what that means for somebody is something's happened in their life that they don't particularly like. Maybe something's changed in their work, something's changed in their cash flow, something's changed with their bills, something's changed that's caused them to be a little dissatisfied, but nobody else knows. They're the only one that knows. Okay? So 3 p.m. people, or 3 o'clock people might be open, but you know what they're more interested in? Fixing the problem. They're not interested in starting something new. They're more invested in what they're currently doing, and they're trying to fix whatever situation that they're in. Okay? If they got a big problem at work, they're trying to fix that problem at work. If they got a big problem with the bills, they're trying to fix that problem with the bills. You know what I mean? So 3 o'clock, something's happened. They're the only one that knows, and they're trying to fix it. 6 o'clock, now they're not the only one that knows. They know that something's wrong. Now the family knows that something's wrong. Other people know that something's wrong. And it's like DEFCON 4. I mean, it's really a difficult situation, and they're in scramble mode. Okay? 9 o'clock it's become obvious that if something doesn't change, they're in big trouble. Okay? They've got to change, otherwise they start to be open basically between here and here. They start to be open to opportunity. High noon, they're saying, "Sign me up. I'm ready to go. Sign me up." That's high noon. Okay? So we're going to be talking to as many people as possible. And we're going to be following up. But we're also going to accept the fact that not everybody's going to be at high noon. You're trying to catch them between 9 and noon. Here they got ego involved, and they're either everything's going great, well, oh, there's a problem, but they're invested, they got their ego involved, and they're not really ready to go look at something new. They don't want to give up on fixing the problem that they have. Here it's getting pretty bad, but they're still, they're going to fight through it. Here it's over, it's clear that something's got to change. The old path is not going to do it. Maybe they got fired here. Maybe they got, demoted here. Maybe they got a huge tax bill here that created a problem for them. Or they got a big, medical bill here. And this is what they have going on. It's not going to solve it. They got to do something. This point is they got to do something. Here is their sign me. So these modes, you can still sign people up in every place of the clock dial, but this is where the money is. This is where people are like, I've been waiting, I've been looking for something, I'm ready to go. So we're gonna keep following up, and this could change in a moment. This could change. You talk to somebody in the first day of your 2030 and they're here. Day 5, they're here. Day 10, they're here. Day 15, they're like, okay, I got to do something. They're here. So here, they're not interested. They're investing in something else. They're focused someplace else. Here, they have a slight interest, but they're still distracted by other things. Here, interest is getting pretty high. Here, sign me up. Okay? So we're going to be following up in this 30 days and also beyond this 30 days. And we're just going to accept the fact that we're going to talk to enough people and we're going to follow up professionally to be able to find them in a moment where they're ready to be open. Same prospect, not open, maybe open. Same prospect. Okay? So we got to get good at follow-up. Follow-up, it takes an average. If you're doing face-to-face interactions with a prospect, it takes between 4 to 6 exposures for a person to make a decision and join. Between 4 and 6. If you're talking to them on the phone, you send them a text message. If you're sitting down with them for coffee, whatever it happens to be, 4 to 6 exposures. Now, if you're just doing social media, 15 to 30 exposures. Using social media. Why? I tell the story.
All right, so I'd like to open this up for conversation on a couple levels. If you look at his clock dial, where were you when you signed up? And then let's talk about your why with the group that's on here of leaders. And I'll kick it off. I'm an anomaly. I didn't have anything and no follow-up, but I saw it and I signed up. So I'm like such an outlier. I don't even count for most of this, right? So think about the people we've been talking to, but where were you? Did you have to see it a number of times? Were you a 3? Were you a 6? Were you a 9? Jerry, go ahead.
1201.
So talk about that.
Knowing you for as long as we've known each other, and knowing me and how bad I was, and knowing you and your research, and you're digging into everything, and this, that, I had no qualms.
So personal relationship.
Right.
But you did have a why, right?
Yeah, of course. I think everybody has a why.
Well, for you at that point, it was health problems, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, really was. Great. Barbara.
Yes. So for me, I was probably at a 9 because and the only reason I say that is because Janet showed me the PowerPoint once, and I saw those great before and after pictures. And I still hesitated, but it was because I couldn't possibly see how I could fit more into my schedule. But I really identified with this video because I had things going on that nobody knew about. Janet did not know that I had been told I had kidney disease. She didn't know I was struggling for income. And so it was kind of a hard transition for me to jump from one thing to the other, but it made so much sense. But I had to make that commitment that I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make the time.
Great, thank you. Yeah, Janet.
I jumped in right away to use the patches because I had chronic pain for 25 years. So that was a no-brainer to try them out. I really struggled with trying to start a business with it. I already had another network marketing business that I was doing. So that was kind of a
you're not on the pain.
and maybe I was it really didn't take me long, about 2 weeks of seeing really good results and knowing that I could put my reputation out there too. Didn't take long. Interestingly enough, the last person I signed up as a gold this past week, I never sent her anything except she saw pictures of Aruba. Because I asked her, I was like, how did you know I was doing this? Because I don't post on my regular Facebook about, specifically about that. I'm doing a little bit here and there now, and she said, well, I saw those pictures in Aruba and I looked up LifeWave and I thought, that's interesting. And then her sister had a problem that needed to be fixed and she reached out. Now they're both using it.
So post more vacation pictures.
Evidently.
Guess it's true. Thank you, Janet. Kim A.
Well, I was a 3 or maybe a 2 when Rosemary contacted me because number one, I didn't do anything that my doctors didn't tell me to do. And number two, we hear so much on TV and stuff about this will cure this and that, So I really wasn't interested, but because Rosemary and I are good friends and she followed up, I decided to watch the videos. And when I watched the videos, I was like, this might help because I've, had chronic pain for 55 years and the only option was to have major back surgery. So I tried it and it worked immediately. And I just felt like it was a calling from God to share it with people because it had helped me so much and it changed my life. And so, it was a really good segue. It's funny though, I told Rosemary in the beginning, I said, I'm not going to these meetings. I will not, being in network marketing before and all of the meetings you have. So that was kind of my journey. But, it's just been a blessing because I had a good Amazon book business that was actually working. I was building it and it was actually making enough money because I need extra money to in addition to my Social Security and my disability. So this has kind of taken that place. And
thank you, Kimmy. Thank you. Yeah, just to hear everybody. Julie.
Well, I never got sent a video. I was a 0. I kind of got ambushed by somebody showing me, but the biggest thing I got was that this was out there. I didn't know what it was. I didn't have any issues, but I knew enough. So when I did have an issue, that I called the person and I got an exposure. I had a massive experience very quickly. And I went to a 12 really quickly once I'd had the experience. So that was it.
That's true. Thank you. Rosemary.
I did not think I was raising my hand, but okay, well, how did I start? I wasn't looking for anything and Janet just popped in and I had the card and But I'm one of these people that after I watched it, I had no intention of, I can always use extra money. Yes, I can. And I'm grateful. And I did have, like Janet says, I don't know that I was so bad. So I really wasn't looking for something. But after I looked at the video and I said, well, heck yes, I need to know about this. And then it's my nature. I just said, well, of course, I just want to, I'll position myself to share with others, because if I like it, then the decision's already made. So that was my deal. I typically jump in, so that's what I did.
Thank you. Rainey, I'm gonna put you on the spot. What do you think you were?
Well, I saw Julie at a tennis tournament in Florida, and she was patching a bunch of players. So they're all talking about it, and they're world-class players at this tournament. So I'm thinking, well, what are they doing that I don't even know what's going on? So Julie sent me, I was going to another national tournament the very next week that I was not entered in, but it was in my hometown. So she FedExes me like this big, huge package of patches. She goes, just patch everybody. And I said, well, I don't know what I'm doing. You'll figure it out. So we didn't have the website back then. But anyway, I patched some people that could not, raise their arm up to there, patched them up with Ice Wave, and all the way up. And I'm like, whoa. So then it just kind of started mushrooming. I'm like, this is fun, and I just want to do it. So I wasn't really even looking for anything, not for my body. For me to get people out of pain, and I was in a horrible car accident several months earlier, and so I'm like, maybe this is why I was saved. Maybe this is my purpose, because it was unclear to me what was going on in my life at that time. Like it's kind of a roundabout way, but
thank you.
Can I just say, sorry, she called me in between those two. Like she was really, she called me and asked me, liked what she saw. So it was like this, whatever experience was. Yeah.
So Rainey moved on the dial in that week. She moved on the dial.
Because she saw something.
So,
yeah.
One last little 10-second. I was holding the patch that Shelly gave me. She said, can you hold on to this? Because she was getting into her wallet and her purse. And I was holding on to it like for a minute or more. And it started tingling my fingers. I'm like, am I really feeling something? That was a real whoa. So,
I didn't know that.
Okay. So let's bring this back in for a second. Everybody, look at the clock. If you use that analogy, where were you? Now, I had to say for myself is that I could probably sell ice cream to Eskimos. In other words, I don't care where people are on that clock, and I will push and I will prod, and it will get to the stage that I'll just tell you to hold the pen and I'll move the paper. That is not a good way of building a rapport in a people building business. I can be strong and sit down and say, you got to do this, man, or lady, or whatever. But it comes back. I got to wind it back to finding, oh, okay. Someone says, well, I need some extra money. Oh, I would like to have a help with some health issues. I have some relatives that are having some issues. I can help them. And
we've got a really bad thunderstorm happening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, back to Janet.
Yeah. So we've got much to cover, but does that make sense? We're starting to broaden, and you see where people aren't at, but yet with follow-up with different connection, we're probably going to, we've got something for them. Hold on here. So, this is a video with Eric that's an hour long. It's really good. But his premise is the only reason for follow-up is to schedule your next exposure. And I never looked at it that way. I was like following up because I'm thinking no, or I get to a yes, or yes, I want to educate them. But it wasn't that my mission was to schedule the next touch point or conversation or video at all. And we're going to show you why he's saying this. And it really reframed follow-up for me. So he's still saying it takes the average person 4 to 6 exposures to hear about something before they believe it, before taking action and fully engaged. However,
You disappeared, Janet.
Thank you. Okay. So let's just pull it apart a little bit, you guys. We've been training 331, and Julie will say, okay, share startx39now.com, or maybe you're sharing an in-touch video. We talk about share a testimonial, and that might be something from the Evolve Telegram channel. It might be getting them on the Monday Morning Miracle Call. It might be Eric's point is no, you're moving them through all of this, all of it. And you better have a checklist because you don't know where they are on the dial. And through these follow-ups, to Knut's point, you have a little conversation. Well, what did you really like about that video? Well, why would you be interested? You keep coming around to why, to why, to why, to why. And you're just asking, and you know, if you felt better, what would you want to be doing now? You know, well, I'll be honest, I've had such trouble with my knees, which LifeWave is fixing. But if I could run up and down stairs again in my life, it would be a heaven, you know, and it could be that simple of a why that way. So we're gonna have some chat here, but the shift for me was, I don't know where they are on this dial, and I don't know what their issues are. Unless I go, well, you know what? Now that I understand what you're going through, Jerry, let me get so-and-so on the phone because you need to hear their story, right? Okay, each exposure is building to engage them, to build credibility, to move them to a 10 o'clock buyer. Casey, I want to address your question now. Absorbs massive amounts of information. If you dripped one thing on me, it wouldn't be enough. Other people, it's too much, but you're just sharing, okay? So we're going to talk about it. Now you've got them signed up. And Julie, jump on here. This is where Julie's been talking.
Wearing it, what are you noticing? You'll get other answers like, oh, I forgot to put it on, so I will then go to, would you like me to send you a text about remembering to put it on, just to help you along? Kind of just think about creatively, what could you do? But people do like that. And then also use that document. You can use that document when you're speaking to them on the phone, and you can read off it as well. You don't have to make it up. You don't have to be an expert. Just use the tools. Introducing a patch, I bake that into my little marketing budget. So that's another excuse. how do I move products through my business? People are trying the different patches because you're developing the relationship through the first couple of months, and they try different patches. So when these promotions come up, a lot of people purchase them, so they get more exposures. So that's awesome. And then once they trust you and they're getting the results, the monthly subscription is a lot easier than cold, just sign them up and I'm putting you on a monthly subscription as well. Get, pushback basically. So you can try it, but I mean, if they say no, don't be offended. Just go, oh, okay, well, here's what to expect. Let them get through that. And yeah, it's pretty nice when you know the routine.
Thank you, Julie. And we've talked about this now for a couple months. Here's what we were also bringing in. Knut and I are going to chat here, but about this point, people's why starts evolving from what they first thought you were talking about to now as they see health changes and they start to see potential, right? But what I wanted to bring in here is we're asking them to join us, right? We're bringing them on board. I think we have to stop and say, well, to Julie's point, did they have a Lifeway result? If they did, they get very excited, right? Oh, I got to share it. But at this point, I didn't stop and go, hey, have I really checked? Have their desires or goals or dreams changed? Have they evolved? I've been too focused on the patches, to be honest, because I love the technology and I know they work, right? But I'm going to have Knut jump in here, but real quick also, at some point, do they understand we have a success system? It's an exposure. It's showing them what we have, maybe before we even invite them, right? But do they have fears and doubts? Most people do. And they're not going to tell us. They're going to tell us it's fine, right? Do we know if this is the right time for them? It's going back to the relationship. So Knut, let's talk about the why again at this point.
Yeah, thank you. The why, and I always say this, the why comes before the how. We fall into the trap where you can do this and you can do that and you can do this and you can do that. Rather than, that's an interesting question. Why do you ask that?
Yeah.
Just why do you ask that? Share with me so I can help you. And we've been trained for so many years to have an instantaneous answer to a question. But one of the things that comes out of the book, Questions Are the Answers, is that whomever asks the question controls the conversation. It's a very powerful little statement. Whomever asks the question controls the conversation. So how does the patches work? How does this work? Oh, that's an interesting question. Why do you ask that? I immediately take
what's
that
going
question.
on for you? Yeah, all
Yeah.
those questions.
And you roll it back to that. So you also got to figure out where they are in the journey. Yes, they have registered as a brand partner. Are they? Because you can use the clock method for something else as well. It's like at 3 o'clock, they're only interested in having something sold for themselves. They're only after something that is directly impacting them. They're on painkillers, blood pressure medication, or whatever it is. You move them to 6 o'clock. Now they're beginning to see something that they can share with friends, families, and relatives that they can help or assist them with. And at 9 o'clock, they're getting into the, oh, you mean I can make some money out of this? So that method there is that subconsciously, can you begin to ask yourself the questions, where are they on the dial? Are they at 3 o'clock? Are they at 6 o'clock? Are they at 10 o'clock? And for the people who are asking questions in and about, if you have a picture in your head as to where they are on the dial, we have so many tools, be it a video, be it a PDF, be it a link somewhere that we can send them. So we give them a feel-good feeling as to where they are. I mean, otherwise I'm trying to someone who's at 3 o'clock on the clock method, and I'm trying to drag them to a 9. Okay, I'm persuasive, I can get them there. But a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still.
And Knut, if I can add on there, just thank you, Kamei and Rainey, for your stories. Kamei had her own doubts about the product because she only did what her doctor told her. And then she was like, and it's a network marketing business, I'll never go to those meetings. So she was probably like a 1, right? And then Rainey's like, well, this is really fun. For her, that was a big why, right? So I think starting back, we have a form called Getting to Know You that we talked about in training 2, where you really have a chance just to have a conversation with some key questions like this. Because honestly, some people want to be on board, but it wasn't the right time. For when I shared this with Barbara Larrabee, she was in another company. She had to spend time thinking, why would I go to a different company, right? It was not the right time for her. It's just LifeWave was so compelling, it took her over. So hopefully this is helping me. I hope it's helping you to just think a little differently on this. So, okay, let's go to our cascading exposures again, to Knut's point. If there are 3, I can't drag them to a 9, but maybe now, to Julie's point, I send a video, let's say on Eon. You've been talking about inflammation. Why don't you watch this video with David, as they're in their 3-month period. Julie's point, hey, this ice wave sample, let me show you how it can stop pain, but now let me give you Dr. Jennings' video on it so you understand it that way. It's just another exposure, right? Okay, well, we're having this home party at Rosemary's, and I know you just got signed up, but why don't you come again and really listen and hear other people's stories? Again, the team.
All right, community.
I jump to that one. Pretty please for Sugar Round.
Oh, of course.
If you have a brand new a brand partner, or they've been in for 2 months or 6 months or whatever, but you invite them to a home party, always remember to ask them to invite a friend or share it with a friend or 2.
Yeah.
Move the ball on. See if you can start building depth and you can move through. Sorry.
Because perfect. Because their friend is probably over at a 1 o'clock on the dial, right? But by the end of home parties, people are often at 6, often at 9. We have a lot of signups. Okay, the event I want to expand out. The event could be that home party. The event could be a regional meeting, or the event could be the virtual regional meeting that you get on. It could be any local presentations. Barbara and CJ have been doing things locally on Sundays, right? What's an event? Expand it out for yourself, you guys, and start thinking, can I start creating events? Because we're not in COVID anymore, number 1, and we're not wearing masks, thank goodness. People want to be back with community. Janet and Bob did a great, just come over, get to know you kind of barbecue picnic about a month ago. We just did a brunch here in the Georgetown area, right? Start thinking of how you can expand. All right, team meetings. This is a team meeting. Maybe at this point they need to know the comp plan, but before they didn't, right? But again, don't pick one. You got to think of how you can move through this cascade, okay? All right, again, to Eric's point, each is an exposure to engage them, to build credibility and to move them around the dial. So we're jumping ahead. Probably the biggest thing in your whole toolbox here is the national convention. It's why we're just so dogmatic about it. If you haven't been, you don't know what you don't know. And we have it here in October. We've got this 3 months to build, because once it's gone for a year. And it's so important they get the experience of what is there. So let me jump back, not national convention, but I'm going to keep this up. But Rainey, jump on board and talk about event. You got to go to Aruba. What shifted for you there?
that it was sort of, that it was more of a team, like we're all in it together. Cause I mean, I'm just sitting out here in California. I don't have all of you guys, you know, out here. A lot of you girls in Texas kind of have each other. And I'm like, I don't have anybody. So it really connected me to you guys so that I didn't feel so, you know, alone. For me, that's what it did.
And then what else happened?
I met David.
Exactly. And then what else happened?
Well, we started collaborating. I don't know where you're going.
Well, you came home on fire because you now saw the video, you saw the leadership, and you saw the opportunity. I really changed after Aruba.
Yeah, it did because I did but I operate probably different. I think it excited me more. I really, that's for me, it's all about fun and excitement and sharing and helping. So
Yeah, you saw it. Right. So the exposures, and then as you're growing managers and you become a director, part of the exposures, we help you with that. And then we would like to see you become a presenter. So you're the expert from out of town and you're being able to share. You're growing your skills to be a team leader. Hopefully you're going to become a trainer, right? But the whole why is, what is your dream life? That is the why. And it started with a phone call when someone said, you know, what have you heard about stem cells? That this process goes on. So again, each step, the brand partner becomes a successful builder who leads others to their dreams. So I'm going to just pause here a sec. I'd like any comments or thoughts or struggles, or does it make sense? Any feedback? Just jump on, you guys. This is your meeting.
Well, I'll just add, I love the visual of the 2 pages with the cascading steps. That makes it really simple, and I like visual things. And maybe you could send that out in a group email so we could share out in hard copy too. So anyway, that was really good. And then what you just said on the last slide, lead others to their dreams, that line. And I think we all feel that. And that would be a great thing to have in our affirmations or our 90-day story.
Yeah. You know, and it can be, again, their why changes. I need to be more aware of how their why is changing. And I appreciate all of our leaders on here because we've gotten to know each other and how they shift. And again, I'm going back to Rainey this time. She posted yesterday, this has been hard. It's been a roller coaster. And yet I would not want to be not on the ride, you know, and once you're on it, it's so much fun. Kim A.
Well, you know that I've really been struggling with depression and just being able to get into what I need to do. And part of it is feeling like I'm not doing it right, or I don't know what all it is, but most of my people don't want to really do anything. You know, they don't need the money. Oh, I want to share with people and heal them. And so it's been difficult with that. But I love this saying about lead others to their dreams. That's, you know, they want to help people with the patch to help them health-wise. They know people who need this financially. And if we can help them lead other people to their dreams, that's awesome. But I love this collaboration. You know, Aruba was magical for me because of the excitement and the camaraderie and the building that we had. It was just so awesome to feel the energy from everybody else. And so I'm looking forward to In Touch, and I mean, not In Touch, the next convention and convention. So It does. The energy of other people just fires you completely up.
You're going to be juiced like nothing when you come out of In Touch. Yeah, this is it coming.
This is it.
Yeah, you're going to be, yeah, you're not going to know what hit you. But to your point there's 2 points, actually. Very well said. Number one, we're dealing with humans. We're dealing with people. So don't ever think for a second that you will have every single answer to every single question, to every single concern. We're human. We don't know whether people are having a crap day or they're having a great day. For us, it is an ability to be able to be like the swan. We are calm and collected on the top, but underneath, the legs are going like mad. They're going like mad. And that in itself, when you realize that, and also realize that people's goals, they say something, and we can just take them at their word rather than forcing them to sign their firstborn over if they decide that they're going to change their goals. That doesn't work either. So we got to have a lot of leeway in dealing with humans. And I think if I could throw the ball, I'm going to just try something here, if you don't mind, Janet, for a second. Hey, Phil, what are you getting out of this? Because you've been quiet, and you're 1 out of 3 men on the, or 4 men on the Zoom.
Well, I've noticed there's a lot of women involved in this project. I'm still learning on it. The biggest hurdle I have seen here in Texas is sticker shock at the cost of the product. I do have one lady that I've known for 50 years. She is on the product, and she was probably an 11 on this clock. And I talked to her a couple of weeks ago. She's been on it for about 4 months, and I asked her if she, how she's feeling, how she's done. She said, "Well, I'm really not feeling much." And I said, "Well, just keep at it, and we'll give this thing 6 months, and we'll see what's what." That's my experience.
That's perfect. That's perfect. And when you get the sticker shock, so this is a perfect example. Thank you, Phil, for stepping on. This is a perfect example for if you have rehearsed the objection in advance. So the problem is not the problem is before the problem. So if you have rehearsed the objection in advance, my fallback for that would always be, we have a program to help you pay for your patches. Would you be interested in that? And now you drag them from a 4 across to a 9 again, because they're getting the value from the patches, but they're going out, that's $100 plus extra per month. Well, we have a program for that. Would you like? And now suddenly you might have 3 or 4 silvers come in that you can start working with. So everything here is a dance. We have to learn to dance with people. And I said earlier, whether it's the waltz or the cha-cha or the rumba or whatever, that have different rhythms, and we have to learn to adjust and work with those different rhythms.
Yeah. And Phil, if you have not had a chance to see skills training 1, 2, and 3, we really invite you to go over. We're going to give you the website again. Take time. And Phil, who's your sponsor?
Brett.
Okay, so maybe get back with, because I think when people understand the difference between I'm not feeling anything to what do you notice, and also, as Barbara pointed in here, the costs for her is inconsequential compared to being too sick to work. So we'll help you with that. Okay, we'll be happy to. All right, thank you, everyone. I'm cognizant of the time. Let's finish this for you. So I just wrote some stuff in an Excel spreadsheet. I'll send these all out. This was to remind myself in the prospect, did I do this? Did I do this? I'm really at a stage where I'm getting so many referrals. Janet, just start talking to them, and we start showing them And then they're signing up. The problem is I've not done this stuff and they don't know what it's about really, or the depth and breadth, and I don't know their why. And so I really thank Knut and Julie in this process that I'm missing that. I've got to go back and go back to those first people that jumped right on board because they were in pain or they're really sick. They were a 9 to sign up, but on really in their life, they're about a 2. So for me, I've got to go back and really do these exposures. So again, we just wanted to remind you, you can have everything in life you want if you just help enough people to get what they want. The point is, do we know what they want, right? Again, we don't want you to slow down, however, like I can't talk to them until I know their why, because honestly, the company's in 15x growth, you guys. And there's a lot of people jumping on LifeWave, and I'm starting to get calls, people trying to enroll me. So don't feel like you have to know everything to start sharing, right? So with that, again, part of your tools of exposing are our opportunity presentations that are Monday and Tuesday night at 8 Eastern, Wednesday afternoons, Thursday at night in Spanish. We're doing the 331 trainings on Wednesdays, and now the marketing skills training. And so I really recommend go back to skills training number 2. It goes deep into how to invite. Everything is about inviting so that you can get the conversation. You can find their why. You can help their life get better. You can help them get to their dreams. As Eric says here, by the way, there's nothing wrong with selling. The salespeople of the world drive the economy. We do. People in network marketing are just super salespeople because we educate. That's what we do. And those exposures are educating.
Hang on one second. I would say we are super relationship people.
There you go. Now he's correcting Eric.
No, seriously. I mean, I can sell ice cream to Eskimos, but until I can actually connect with a person and have a relationship with them and I can help them, whether it's in pain or get more money, it's relationships. And that's what I drive. That's what I drive.
Thank you, Knut. Very well said. So Knut and Julie have been very generous. They've got this YouTube channel set up. They're archiving everything at youtube.com/@ don't forget that little activate the stem cells. And you want to bring your team onto these, and you're the leader now. You guys are managers. Come back. Hey, so-and-so, you're just getting started. We want to take you over to this YouTube channel. I'd like you to watch Network Marketing Skills number 1, where it really talks about the industry. Great. Let's go to Network Marketing Skills 2. So again, if you don't know about the conference, Barbara, talk about the conference. You invite them.
Well, this is going to be in October, as it says, in Orlando. Last year's, we all got to go to last year's. After COVID, they got back in business with their global convention, and it's just magnificent. We get the vision of David, this brilliant man, and the direction he's taking the company. It's amazing to be sitting having dinner with people that you normally see on video, whether it's your team or it's leaders from another team that you would otherwise never get to associate with. And everybody's so generous in sharing information and testimonials with you. Anyway, you just come out of there on fire. So if there's a way for you to get there, please do. This will sell out. It did sell out last year, and we reached a point where we couldn't get tickets for the in-person. There also is a virtual option if you absolutely cannot go, but if you can go in person, it's going to be magnificent for you. When you are in person, you actually will have a virtual replay for a couple of weeks after you get back home. And the hotel, the original host hotel, which is the Hyatt, is already sold out and we cannot get more rooms. But right next door, they have rooms at the Hilton, and there is a sky bridge that connects both of those hotels. So you don't have to get out in the traffic or the weather, any of that. And that's going to be super convenient. So those are the ones that are available right now at the special room rate of $209. And the big thing about this too is that your team, if you know, even if you're a brand new person, if you can come yourself, you will explode. If you can bring 3 brand new people, they will explode. We're all going to explode after this convention. So it's a stepping stone to having your business really increase and to developing your leaders. And also, we are in this 90-day challenge period right now. Anybody who is achieving a new rank by September 15th will be able to walk across the stage and receive a beautiful award. So it's wonderful to do that with all of your friends and your team there clapping for you. And everybody's just enjoy at seeing their friends have that successful experience.
Thank you, Barbara. And again, if you're not certain, as Knut would say, open your calendar, mark it out that you're going to go. You may not know how yet, but if you're working with us and as a team, you can make enough money between now and then to pay for this whole trip. You can. So we can do that. We want to see you there. All right. We hope this has been helpful to you guys, help you think through. It sure helped me to prepare this, and with Julian, Knut, and all of us chipping in, I look at follow-up much more deeply, more comprehensively. I want to stop and think where they are on that clock dial. What is their why? I think as successful as the product is, I think we're going to have a far more successful team from this. So I thank everybody. If there's any last questions, I know you've got a Saturday to go to, but we thank you a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet.
Janet, I have a question. When following up with my people, I realized that I don't have notes about what their why was when they signed up. Do you all have any suggestions? Do you keep like index cards, or do you keep a database, or do you just keep it on their order form? How do you do it?
We put out, pardon me, Knut, real quick. We put out a form, Barbara and I did last year, called Getting to Know You Interview. It is on the Live Younger website. I can also put it in the chat. That is where we kept all our notes, honestly, because it opened people up. Correct, Barbara?
Yes.
But I thought that was brand partners.
Yeah, I hear that. The form we're talking about is almost like to get to know you, like a starting point 101 or something like that. I personally, when I have new brand partners, I put that information in my handset in the notes section, because then I can build up a little bit of a history, and I always have it with me. Right? I don't drag a whole catalog of paperwork out with me when I'm out and about. I just have bullet points. Oh, the knee is better. Or looking for the way to pay the patches, yada, and literally just line by line by line, and this sits in the notes section. And I don't do it when I'm sitting with them. I do it when I come out of the meeting.
Well, I'm kind of talking about customers too.
Same goes for them. Don't you have the phone number in your phone?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just talk to your customers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Great. All right, everyone. Well, thank you very, very much. I know you're all part of a big team, and we appreciate everything you do, if we don't say it enough, and go have a great weekend.
Thank you, Janet.
Janet, thank
Have a good
you.
one.
Great
Right.
meeting, thank you.